Hello, welcome to another battle report. This is a 2,500 point match of Warhammer Fantasy between my Empire army and Mike's Ogre Kingdoms. We rolled up the Dawn Attack scenario. You can see a wide angle shot of the board post deployment and before Vanguard moves. And I hadn't played Mike for a while. This video, I've recorded it pretty late. We played this game in early January, and it was actually like just a really hard game for me. But I've had a tall glass of the Balvenie 15 year, and I think I can get this report out without getting frustrated. So going left to right on Mike's deployment, we have 4 Mournfang with the Musician and Standard. The Standard bearer has the Dragonhide banner, which lets them re-roll all 1s in combat the turn that they charge, and also allows them to use a Strength 3 breath weapon. The Stegodon Scrap Launcher is being proxied as an Iron Blaster. He has his unit of Iron Guts in the center. They have the Standard of Discipline on the BSB with a Great Weapon who has been pushed into the 2nd rank. And then he has his General, the Slaughtermaster, a level 4 Gut Magic. He's got the Glittering Scales, the Fencer's Blades, and the Crown of Command. So he is only hit on 6s in close combat, and the unit is stubborn. He also has a unit of Bulls on the right there, with a Fire Belly wielding a Great Weapon in the 2nd rank, because the Ogre command models take up the front rank. On the right-hand side, he has a Giant and another Iron Blaster. 3 Saber Tusks were deployed along with them. I just didn't mention them. His level 4 has the Stubborn spell, +1 Strength, +1 Toughness, and Regen. So pretty good spell selection for Gut Magic. And then his Fire Belly has Fireball and Fulminating Flame Gauge. Left to right on my side of the board. Remember, this was Dawn Attack, so our deployment was pretty well hampered by this. The Pistoliers are deployed in front of the Demigryph Knights, along with 10 Skirmishing Archers in front of my unit of 29 Swordsmen with my level 4 Wizard Lord. This is the same list that I always take, the one that I took to the tournament, so no real deviations. 11 Inner Circle Knights with the Warrior Priest, who has the Crown of Command. The Celestial Hurricanum behind a unit of Great Swords with the characters in it, and the Steam Tank on the side. I had these 4 spells. Not a really bad set to have against Ogres. Pit of Shades especially is a big threat to the Ogres. However, I do want to say a quick thing about the board before I forget. Let me see if the next image. Okay, if you can see in front of the Bull unit and Iron Gut unit, that rock formation, we decided that the rocks themselves and that hill would be impassable terrain. So everything else is just a regular hill or a forest, as you can imagine. But this, and there's one on the opposite on the left side of the board, are impassable. Wasn't a huge deal, but it did affect movement, and I wanted to mention it before I got any further into it. So Vanguard moves, the Pistoliers move up like so. Mike deployed first, and I did not seize the initiative, and he begins his movement phase. So the Saber Tusks move up full bore. The Iron Blaster stays back and angles towards the Demigryph Knights. The Giant advances. The Bulls and the Iron Guts advance, not really full speed, but moving towards the center of the board. And the Mournfang, actually, Mike reforms them with the intention to swift reform them, but bounces the leadership check. So they actually just pivot on the spot and remain there. The other Iron Blaster is going to be shooting at the Steam Tank, so it doesn't really need to move. It appears just showing that he bounced that leadership check. In the magic phase, he sends a jacked up fireball at the Pistoliers and just completely annihilates them. And I don't make a single save, so yep, that was great. He gets off Spine Marrow on the Bulls, so they are stubborn. Fires a cannon at the Steam Tank and does 4 wounds to it. Fires another cannon at the Demigryphs, does 3 wounds to 1 Demigryph. That's a panic check. They fail the panic check, roll the maximum flee distance, and run off the board. So my right flank is basically got erased right there. That's not a good way to start, but okay. So going into Empire, turn 1 movement. I declare a charge with the Inner Circle Knights on one of the Saber Tusks. It flees. I pass my leadership test and redirect onto the other Saber Tusk, and Mike chooses to hold. This is already pretty problematic for me because I'm obviously going to kill that Saber Tusk. I can I can, restrain and reform, and he'll charge me with the bulls, or I can overrun into the other saber tusk and get stuck there and get charged by the bulls. So I'm already kind of like thinking that maybe clearing out the saber tusk wasn't really worth it. But okay. The archers move into the woods where they'll be stubborn, and the swordsmen just kind of haul ass towards my leadership bubble because I had to deploy them on the edge due to dawn attack. And Steam Tank generates some steam points and rolls like a very low distance trying to charge up towards the Mournfang. So, okay. Here we go at the going into magic. I don't remember if I get anything really good off. Guess not. Yeah. So the knights obliterate the saber tusk and overrun into the other saber tusk, and since when you overrun into a fleeing unit, you destroy it and stop right there. I'm parked right in front of the bulls. So going into Ogre Kingdom's turn 2, Mike declares a charge with the bulls on the Inner Circle Knights. Not a huge surprise there. However, I can't really say that I'm tremendously afraid of bulls, even with the fire belly with the great weapon and all that, because I have a 1-up armor save. It's just not no, I'm not really thrilled about that. I think the one dice that's next to them is meant to show that they had. I think I hit them with the Hurricanum template, and that caused them to have -1 to hit in close combat and have -1 to leadership. So that's not terrible either. And no one really wants to spend dispel dice trying to stop that template because it's really just not that big a deal most of the time. So the Iron Guts can't see the Inner Circle Knights, I believe, or even if they could, they have the impassable terrain between them. I can't really remember. I think they just couldn't see them. So at the end of the movement phase, the Iron Guts are wheeling around the impassable terrain and coming towards my battle line. The Giant has advanced up to threaten the flank of the Knights. The other Saber Tusk moves up directly in front of the Great Swords unit and angles in such a way that I can't really charge the Iron Guts unit. So here you can see and the Mournfang advance through the woods. I think one of them fails a dangerous terrain check, takes a wound, but it's not a big deal. Yeah, they took a dangerous terrain check moving through the woods. In the magic phase, Mike gets Toothcracker and Troll Guts up on the Mournfang. He's anticipating the charge from the Steam Tank because I gotta keep those Mournfang away from my infantry. Mournfang are just death to ranked infantry, and the Steam Tank I just kind of figured I would make a trade right there. So now these are toughness 5 Mournfang and with a 4-up regen. He shoots 1 cannon through the Celestial Hurricanum and puts 3 wounds on it, and shoots another cannon through the Steam Tank, putting another 5 wounds on it, bringing it up to 9 out of its 10 total wounds. So I'm just having my my support units basically systematically picked apart, and I don't have a really good solution to that. I don't like taking artillery batteries. I didn't take one to the tournament. But against the Ogres, I just do not have anything that can stand up to those cannons, especially if Mike rolls really well, which he was doing in these shooting phases. So going into close combat, I think I kill an Ogre and do a few wounds to the... I think I issue a challenge with the Warrior Priest. Mike doesn't want to have to send his... Mike doesn't want to have to retire the Fire Belly because he's got a great weapon against Knights, and he has the Breath Weapon, so he accepts with the Unit Champion. I do a wound to the Unit Champion, I think I do 1 wound to the Unit Champion, as well as my the rest of my Knights do several wounds to the Ogres. I think between the charge, 2 ranks, and the casualties that he inflicted, Mike is winning this combat, and I'm stubborn, leadership 8, and we hold. Beginning of the Empire phase, I attempt to generate steam points with the tank. I get the miscast result, where you generate D3 additional steam points and lose D3 additional wounds. So since I had no wounds left, the steam tank dies. And the Hurricanum moves up as close as I can get it to the Knight unit to kind of screen it from the Iron Blaster on the right-hand side. And the rest of my battle line I declare a charge on the saber tusk. There's really nothing to do there. At least I can make it so that my guys are definitely facing Mike's battle line and the Mournfang, so he doesn't get a flank charge, which would just be terrible. So you can see the forces going into my magic phase. I get off the Hammer of Sigmar on the Inner Circle Knights, so they're rerolling failed rolls to wound, and that's about it. I didn't show the outcome of that close combat phase, but the Warrior Priest kills the unit champion, forcing the Great Weapon, the Great Weapon wielding Firebelly to come to the front at that point. And I start to put attacks on him, and he has no armor or anything because he's supposed to not ever be in combat. So the Firebelly's taken some wounds. It's possible that I even won this round of combat. I don't really remember, but either I lost combat and was stubborn, or it was like a push, perhaps, because I don't remember there being a tremendous amount of combat res from either side of that battle. But needless to say, we're locked in combat and grinding there going into Ogre's turn 3. Mike declares a charge with the Iron Guts and with the Mournfang and makes them both. It's a very short charge. So here is the board at the end of the Ogre's movement phase. I think I took the picture before Mike had finished all his charges because his giant did flank charge the unit of knights. This is post magic and shooting and combat. At this point in the game, the only unit I have that's not in close combat is the archers and the swordsmen. So the cannon just starts shooting at the swordsmen because I don't really have anything else to shoot at. But they're not. But between lookouts, sirs, and all that, I'm only picking up a handful of models, and that's not a huge deal. The magic phase sees Mike buffing up the Iron Guts unit, I believe, with the augments from the gut magic, but puts Spine Marrow onto the Bulls unit to make them stubborn. The giant rolls jump up and down, rolls like a 12 for the jump up and down hit, so that's 12 strength 6 hits on the knights, and just clears them out by himself. Like nobody else needed to do anything in that combat. The knights do manage to kill the Firebelly and cause some wounds to the ogres, but it's a little bit like too little too late because now they're all dead. So, pardon me, the Warrior Priest is unhurt, and he's still stubborn leadership 8 from the Crown of Command, and he's within a foot of my general and my BSB, so he holds. But I mean, the giant's going to continue to jump up and down in my next turn, and that whole flank just crumpled. So this is pretty much game right here, regardless of the outcome of the Great Swords. But seeing as it's like turn 3 and we'd only been playing for like maybe an hour at this point, I saw no reason to end it early. Me and Mike don't get to play a lot, so I wanted to. It's fun just to hang out with him, even if I'm getting my teeth kicked in. So the unit of Great Swords starts out with, I think, like 41 models total with 3 characters and a unit of 38 guys. And the post-combat breakdown was I kill one Mournfang who had taken another dangerous terrain wound charging out of the woods, so he's already pretty softened up. Kill Fistful of Iron Guts, and the combo charge of impact hits from the Mournfang and from the unit, and I think Mike uses the breath weapon off the Dragonhide banner and all that. Does about like 13 wounds to me, which is, I have a 4-up armor save, and not that it counts for much against strength 5 and then against the Iron Guts being strength 6, but that's pretty troublesome. I guess I got Melkoth stuff. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention it. I was thinking about other things in the previous slide. But the Melkoths was -2 to the weapon skill of the Iron Guts, so they're not hitting. They're hitting on like 5s, I think. So it really cuts down on the casualties coming to me from the great weapon part of this, but it certainly doesn't help against all the impact hits and the Mournfang hits. So had my right flank not collapsed, this really isn't that bad an outcome for a round in which Ogres have charged my unit. Losing a quarter of the unit between impact hits and all that really isn't the end of the world. But seeing as this doesn't happen in a vacuum, So here you can see the board going into Empire. This is the end of Empire combat. The giant rolls another like 11 for jump up and down in that combat and annihilates the warrior priest. Surprise, surprise. And the Mournfang, Slaughtermaster, and Iron Guts just come out gangbusters this round and kill off like everything else. Mike doesn't even bother allocating hits onto my characters. I mean, as long as one of the great swords is alive, then the whole unit is stubborn. So, and they're taking leadership tests on 3d6 with a reroll, etc. So, like, I mean, if this were some sort of a close game where the outcome of this combat was really important, like a tournament or something, I would have been, advising him to probably target my characters. But honestly, he didn't need any help in this game at all. Uh, it was just brutal. And like I come out of the tournament feeling reasonable about the list, seeing obvious ways I could improve it, and noting some of the issues with the list, its relative frailty in certain combinations, and its reliance on like finesse and others. But feeling like it's a reasonable list, and then just getting like systematically taken apart by ogres was a very humbling experience. So much so that I basically like pretended I didn't have a battle report sitting on my desk to record for 2 weeks. But Mike's a good friend of mine. He played an awesome game. There was really no shenanigans or anything silly. It was just a case of him rolling really well and making solid tactical decisions to begin with. So good game, Mike. Congratulations on the win. But oh my goodness, this was like a soul destroying loss. I hope you guys enjoyed the battle report. There's really not much else to it after Empire combat in turn 3. I just conceded and said good game, and when we did some other stuff. I hope to have some more games. Me and Anthony are planning on doing a doubles tournament for 40K where we each bring 1,000 points, which means I actually have to sort of think about what to do with my Chaos Marines for 40K. I did a test model for my Tomb King's army. I plan on spraying them all with like the Army Painter bone spray and then dipping them. And the test model actually came out absurdly good. Like, I was very pleased with the outcome of that. So I hope to have the Tomb Kings ready in some reasonable amount of time. I've been putting together skeletons like every night after work, and it is bananas. But yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the battle report. Once again, congratulations to Mike for a really great game, and I'll talk to you guys later.